Hi. All right, how you doing?
Buddy Hall.
Namaste, assalamu alaikum, shalom, ni hao, buenos dias, heseche, akwaba, welcome, and what up, though? This is Club Mid, Menoche Ethics rap session. Working on that title. I'm working without titles. Um, Numero dos. This is session numero dos. The ethic today is Ahimsa, and the artist that is featured today is Bob. I should also say playing for change, actually. Um, something on the So I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna just cue it up. Um, however, together again. But, oh, I got to put it on. How about that? Oh, that's classic banter. Classic banter. Oh yeah, yeah, that too. All right, 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 right. All right, here it is. Yeah. All right. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay, got that. We don't want full screen yet. Not the full screen yet. There we go. All right, there's that. No. Do that. Do that. Do that. That. Oh, okay, here we go. Share screen. Here we go. Oh. That's not what we want to do. Stop. All right. Let's try this again. I want to share the application. Application. Oh, how about this? Try it this way. We're going to minimize that joint here. I guess it's as small as it goes. As low as it goes. So we put that over there. There's that. All right, and then we're going to go minimize that. And then, all right. And then we're going to go, see what I'm doing, but it's okay. Now we're going to mix, big up this a wee bit. All right, it works. So you see me watching whilst you're watching. That's all this is. It's all about us, wherever we be. All right, now let's see if we can do that screen share thing again. There it is. Application window. I want to share the entire screen. Entire screen. Can we do that? Entire screen. Let's see if we can do that. I think we do that. Okay. I think we're doing it actually. And thinks everything's rolling. So I'm just gonna do this and see if it works. I think it does. I don't know.
Until the philosophy which hold one race superior and another inferior, yes, finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, or everywhere is war. Say war. Almost is war. Children of God. Until there are no longer first class, second class citizens of any nation. Until the color of man's skin is of no more significance than the color of his eyes. Everywhere is war. some losing, some dying, some crying, some sing. We don't need no more trouble. 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 What we need is love to guide and protect us all. If you hope good down from above, help the weak to get strong, yeah. Ooh, you got to stop the war. We don't need no more trouble. We don't need no more trouble.
It is. Now, all right. Now we in the elements, and it's starting to come down. So I gotta make some moves. So I'm gonna pause for a second. I think we're rolling. All right. So, uh, again, you're working with the best of conditions. This looks a little MC Escher-ish. All right. So I guess the screen share is off. Turn some of these joints off. So that was again the date today is 124.12.6 semicolon 72 semicolon 3 full 11. And again, this is the Club Med rap session numero dos. And the principal is Ahimsa, the artist is Bob. So Ahimsa means peace, abstinence from violence. It comes from Deshiland, the Sanskrit. Ahimsa, abstinence from peace, non-violence. Wow, did I say abstinence from peace? Abstinence from violence, non-violence. So that's the principle that we're focusing on this theme, on this rap session. And so the artist is Bob, and that is Bob Marley. And it may look different from him, the imagery that you might see in the video. So I explain what the video is, and actually how that's a quintessential is a big word. It's a very appropriate representation of the principle in practice. Exactly. So Bob Marley, a reggae musician from Jamaica. Where them say this fake ass come from. And he passes from life 3 decades ago, over 3 decades ago. A very, very prominent and influential in the world. He's known for his song One Love, and in addition to many, many songs. But very political, spiritual, Rastafari. And additionally, so sharing a message of positivity, and that's what he offers. The song that he shares is "We Don't Need No More Trouble," war. We don't need no more trouble. So that's again a solicitation for peace, reconciliation. I guess I'll share a story about Bob when I get to the point. So that's basically what the song speaks for itself. I think for English speakers, the lyrics are kind of simple, and for non-English speakers, there's very modest amount I can add to it at the moment, at this moment. So that's what the artist is. Now, who are the people on the video? So the video is provided by an organization called Playing for Change. And through recent decades, Playing for Change travels the earth and visits many different places: Africa, Asia, the Middle East, Europe, the Western Hemisphere, all around the earth, and works with street musicians and actually celebrity musicians as well, as you may see in the video. And dude does ensemble kind of recordings of popular songs like "We Don't Need No Trouble" and like "One Love," and additionally a lot of Bob Marley songs. And then each of the musicians sings it in their own element, in their own on the streets, in their hood, in their I'm not certain. I don't know if they've gone to the favelas yet, but in their own atmosphere, in their own environment, as they usually do. And then Playing for Change brings it all together, mixes the sound, mixes the video, and then shares it, presents it accordingly. And so there's a number of albums and a number of songs that Playing for Change does this, and it's a foundation. It does support and community outreach, and additionally, so it's other than just an entertainment endeavor. It's helping people. So that's what Playing for Change is, and so that's who those artists are people from all around the earth, as it says in the descriptions throughout the video, the name of the artist and also the location. That's who it is. Now, it begins the video begins with one of the favorite artists of one of my rabbis. The name of the artist is David Broja from Israel. And so right there, for those who know, on the world scene, that it begins with rather some celebrity magnetism, um, and it continues on with additional beautiful musicians from around the earth, and then it's laced with a wee bit of Bono, who is also a very well-known artist. This video is also produced over a decade or so ago, so there's a little bit of um, context in terms of like the recognizability and messaging in the video. So um, I'm uncertain how much cachet each of the celebrities have these days. My connection with pop culture is comparatively modest. So, but over a decade ago, people said, "Oh, that's him! Oh, that's him! Oh, that's him!" So, anyways, um, so it's laced with Bono as is visible, and so there's a nice kind of um, uh, coalescence amidst the streets and the celebrities, and then it goes into like the bridge, the refrain with a flash of the archive footage of Bob himself, the guy with the dreads, well, the guy with the natty dreads. Anyways, because there are a few guys with dreads on that one. So that's what it goes to now, and it kind of like that kind of crescendos into that archive footage of Bob, which is very appropriate. So artistry with the video production, appreciated as well. Now that's not where it ends though. In terms of you thought that was the crescendo? No, it goes a little bit further, because again, it's exactly an expression, an exercise of peace, even within the video itself. Because after that, there's a scene of the ensemble choir from Northern Ireland, with the Protestant and the Catholic, and so that is a very powerful. The youth singing together, swaying back and forth, saying we don't need no more trouble. So that can bring people to tears. I know it's done it. So again, particularly over a decade ago, because it's during that period that they're increasing challenges. Now, a lot of it is there's a certain amount of reconciliation during that period and since that period, but it's a very meaningful gesture for people from two different sides that have been warring against each other for years and generations and decades, even centuries, to be singing together like that, saying we don't need no more trouble. So it's other than just words. It's even just in singing the words, it's exercising the principle itself. So there's appreciation for that. So those are some of the elements of the video, and the expression, the exercise of Ahimsa within the video itself. And I say, oh, wait a minute, these supposed to be hip hop videos. What happened to that hip hop? That's reggae. It's different. So, haha, no, what's hip hop? The consideration of, first of all, hip hop is up to interpretation. Many people have different definitions and what actually classifies. We can talk about the different elements, and additionally, but there's a consideration. First of all, we know the roots of hip hop. First of all, it comes from many different musical expressions, musical heritage. It includes significantly jazz. It includes gospel and the slave spiritual. In terms of the communication of the woe, the angst that's experienced on the ground, that's rooted within the struggle, and that struggle includes, like I say, the slave spirituals and the gospels, and additionally, hip hop emerges from that experience. That yo, we ain't got nothing, we got to say it, and this is how it's coming out. And so it comes from that. And it comes from the jazz, the extemporaneousness, the wee bit of musicality and rhythm and melody, but then mixing it up and riffing and going off the script. Freestyle. Oh, that freestyle, where do you think that come from? Oh, study the jazz. So I'm safe. So I'm just doing a video. I don't know if you're getting your bike. Okay, cool. Um, so that's part of the roots of hip hop as well. And then obviously you got R&B, you got rock and roll, and additional elements as well. So all of that is part of the nature and uh, the characteristic of hip hop. And so wait a minute, where does reggae fit in that? Oh, reggae is right there. They're like distant brothers because reggae comes from same experience. With different degrees of emphasis, but same struggle, and the expression is increasingly musical and melodic, but it's still talking about the struggle and upliftment. It's actually tends to be increasingly conscientious. It can vary just as hip hop varies in terms of content. However, actually there's strong confluence between reggae and hip hop through the years. Since even Stevie Wonder did some tributes to Bob, and additionally there's a lot of interchange between the islands and the East Coast and the West Coast, and additionally, and so to include reggae within the conversation of hip hop is extremely appropriate, particularly considering the conscientiousness that exists within reggae, and how much it contributes to the hip hop culture and experience. So that is why that this cut is included within the discussion. Um, so that is that part of it. Um, in terms of the topic of ahimsa and peace, um, it may be considered the quintessential reggae musician being Bob Marley, and given his conscientiousness, um, and the life that he lives. It ain't necessarily all perfect, but whose is? And I say whose is, and I include everybody in that whose. Um, but there are many stories beyond the lyrics, beyond his music and what he writes and what he provides. There's the example of who he is as a man, and to exemplify that, I'll share this anecdote. Um, that's actually well known. I got to get that day. Oh, I did get it. I recommend people to see the documentary. I think it's called Bob. There are a lot of documentaries out there. This one came out, I think, 2012 or 2013, but it's a quality one. And so within it, they share the episode in his life when, if I recall correctly, I won't even do that. I think there were some extenuating circumstances before this event actually happens, which makes the story even increasingly incredible. But without, because I want to be certain about that, I'm not gonna blow up the spot at the moment. But albeit as it may, during his life, politics is cutthroat, literally, in Jamaica. Factions warn like gangs, like gangsters, and the political leaders are being the head of those basically political gangsters, political gangs, and being thuggish, ruggish, and literally violence, killing each other for political power, um, and and so there are two factions, two prominent factions in Jamaica, and there's a presidential election, and Bob is that's Bob is that's his island, um, and so exactly amidst the height of the conflict, and the violence between the factions, um, Bob does a concert, um, and he might have even made the concert free to the public, with the interest of bringing peace to the streets. And so, in doing it, as part of the political, cultural, spiritual diplomacy, both factions, both political parties have to go because it's Bob. And so Bob transcends the politics. And so anybody who doesn't go to support and watch Bob, oh, then the whole crowd's gonna be like, oh, what you think? Oh, da, 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 da. So they got to go to the concert. So Bob's on stage, and Hi, how you doing? All right. Bob's on stage and he's doing his music, and then in the middle of it, they got that presidential candidate from the one faction, the gangster, and they got the presidential candidate from the other faction, the gangster, both in the seats, both in the stands, in the crowd. And so in the middle of his music, Bob Dunn stopped the song, or stopped the scene, and said, "Ho ho! Right now, I'm gonna call him to the stage." And he calls both of them up to the stage. Calls them out, says, "Come on up here. We're gonna make peace. We're gonna make reconciliation." And oh, you got to do it because it's Bob. He's pulling some weight right there. So he calls them both to the stage, and there they go, both of them. They got to go, and they stand up to the stage, and he has one on his one hand and the other on his other hand, and he brings them together, and gets them to shake hands with each other. Ha ha, killing each other right in the middle of it. Bob says, "We're gonna make peace." Now, how long that lasts, how long that translate into enduring peace, situation is increasingly quelled these days, as I understand. However, it's just that gesture, utilizing that influence that he has, that cachet, to bring the political leaders, the presidents, the presidential candidates, um, um, who are literally warring against each other. Cats is heating each other up, lighting each other up on the streets. And Bob brings them together, the heads, the leaders together on stage, and has them shake hands with each other and says, "We're gonna make some peace," and that's what it is. So there are many stories like that of courageous people who utilize influence in that positive, constructive manner, who transcend, um, and there's another word that ends with "send" that means to bring together. I invite people to think about that. Um, Anyways, in the meanwhile, uh, to transcend those differences, but to resonate with people amidst those differences, and to use to transfer that transcendent affinity for reconciliation amongst the peoples. That's what it's about. That's what it's all about. Um, so, and it ain't always roses. It ain't always pretty. Bob comes from an experience of suffering, and so that experience of transcendence, it's not celebrity, it's not being famous and flash life and whatever else. um, it's a matter of understanding and having a certain connection with truth and struggle, experiencing that oneself, and being triumphant amidst that, and then sharing it with others in a beautiful way, in an eternal way. Um, so that's what that love is. That's what the truth is. Even modesty. Um, Anyways, I'm running my mouth at this point. Uh, so that's some considerations about Ahimsa. Um, I do have a wee bit of a spiel, for the topic of Ahimsa. However, since the previous joint, there is a conversation that is had about convening an event here, an actual event with people, additional people, um, uh, on topic of the International Day of Peace. Actually, a little over a month from this point. So I may be saving that spiel for that event. So I'm gonna leave it at this. We've got it for about a half hour. That seems about decent. Uh, Substance today, yeah, but it's legit. So the example of the Protestant and the Catholic choir was just one example of the intrinsic reconciliation that's included within the video. There are a number of additional groups from different communities, cultures, traditions, that are included within that, wherein there is effective reconciliation. I think it's increasingly evident and direct within the example of the Catholic and Protestant youth choir. So that's why I make mention of that specifically there. Uh, so peace, it means beyond just abstinence from violence. Peace means having food on the table, having clothes on the back, having a place to stay. Peace goes beyond just abstaining from violence. Um, and so Obviously, when we think of Ahimsa, oh, I have yet to mention Gandhi in here. What about that? So obviously, Gandhi is one who makes the term and the practice and the discipline of Ahimsa increasingly renowned around the earth, known around the earth, and renowned around the earth. So got to give some props to that. Big up to Gandhi, Gandhiji. Um, and let's see what else. What else? Well, I guess I obviously Martin Luther King as well. Um, Continuing in that tradition. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So uh, Ahimsa also means standing up. It don't mean pacifism. It means standing up and standing up to violence and standing up to aggression, but doing it in a righteous way, um, in the least violent and the least impositional way. Um, so that is there are ways of doing that as well. Um, it can be challenging as well. So going to a peace rally and then and calling the cops the next day when somebody feels something, that ain't necessarily himself. Getting somebody else to do the grunt work, that ain't necessarily him. So it's beneficial for us to be increasingly honest about our discipline, and as many coexist and peace stickers and tolerance and belief and all them because I got them throughout the years. As many of those stickers and catchphrases we like to do, it goes beyond just talking words. It goes to a comprehensive because a lot of people are living in a comfortable situation, but not necessarily dealing with violent aggression on a regular basis. So it's easy to say, oh yeah, but when it actually comes down to them, oh wait a minute, dot, and calling up them cats with guns, that ain't peace. So that's about it. I run off. I run off. That being said, namaste, assalamu alaikum, shalom, zaijen, adios, jackeries, asempe na asumubo, kile Alfred, love and peace.